Welcome to This Week in College Football, the #1 college football podcast in the world, where we give our opinion on the latest news and action in the past week of college football. Now, here is your host, Rob McHugh.
Welcome to another edition of This Week in College Football. How you doing, Andy?
Everything's good, Rob. How about you today?
Pretty good. We're going to get in with the Big 12 today.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. We're through with the small conferences.
Yeah.
Let's get in the meat of it.
Now we got the big boys. That's why we did Ohio. I started to say that's why we did Ohio State first. That's why we did the Big 10 first. They're one of them little conferences.
Yeah. The soft squads.
Yeah. Big 12's kind of interesting to me.
Yes, it is. There's going to be some good teams coming out of there. There's going to be some good football played there. They got some good schedules. I got Baylor, Oklahoma, and Kansas State and Texas Tech going to be battling for it.
I think so, too. I think Baylor and Oklahoma.
It'll come down to that game, probably.
I think it'll come down to those two, or maybe Oklahoma State could slip in there.
Yes. Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech. Cliff Kingsbury. He may be on The Bachelor next time. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know it.
They put him a mansion out there in Lubbock, Texas. He might be the next Bachelor.
You're not kidding.
Said he has all these recruits' moms, single moms, hitting on him when he's out recruiting. He said that helps his recruiting a little bit.
I bet it does.
Oh, that's funny.
But I tell you, I don't have Texas anywhere in the mix.
I don't either. And I've got them at 5-7 actually.
I got them at 6-6 with a couple of question marks.
So I know that I don't think they'll beat. I think they start off the season 1-3. Texas will. I think they lose to BYU and they lose to UCLA week 2 and 3. I think they beat North Texas to start the season, but I think they lose the next two.
And Kansas is probably going to play them a pretty good ball game.
I've only got Kansas going 1-11. I haven't got much faith in Charlie Weiss and
I've got them going 3-9 with a couple of question marks, so it very well may be 1-11.
If I had to just go ahead and choose right now, I say Oklahoma wins the Big 12 because they'll beat Baylor. I think they beat Baylor because that game is in.
It's in Norman, isn't it?
It's in Norman,
yeah.
So that's why I'm giving them the win on that one.
And Baylor's got to replace a lot of people.
Yeah, they do. They don't have to replace their quarterback. That's why I'm giving them a better. It could come down to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and they play the last game of the season. Because I've got Oklahoma State going 10-2, losing to Florida State and Baylor.
Well, I've got Oklahoma State going 9-3 with a couple of question marks. It's going to be interesting in that conference.
Yeah, this conference there's some really good teams. Oklahoma, Baylor, Kansas State, and Texas Tech, like you said,
I think they'll be the four front runners.
I do too. Texas. There's just not much going to happen in Texas this year. David Ash hurt this spring, just had surgery. So, who knows when he's going to be back.
And they're starting a new system with Charlie Strong.
He's a defensive-minded coach.
Yes, and still I haven't heard anything coming out of Texas about Texas. I mean, I hear about Texas Tech. I hear about Baylor. I hear
A&M.
Yes, I hear about Dennis Francione, however you pronounce that boy's name. I hear about them some, but I know nothing about Charlie Strong in Texas. I just don't understand that.
Well, David Ash missed half the season last year because of concussions, and now he's hurt again. He's hurt his shoulder, and I'm not sure if it's just throwing shoulder or what, but he's having surgery on it. He's already had surgery on it, and he's out. No, it wasn't his shoulder; it was his foot. He broke his foot.
Yeah,
and he's had surgery on his foot now.
So I mean, he's got to get ready by September.
Who
is their backup?
They got two freshmen coming in, and I can't remember who it seems like they have a redshirt sophomore or somebody that's there.
They got to get him ready.
So,
and I'm sure he's getting a lot of reps right now. So that's
good. I'm
good.
sure he is too. And have they had their spring game yet?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure if they have or not. But anyway, we start off with Baylor. I've got them at 11-1. I think they win all their games. And I'm just giving a loss to Oklahoma. That's November the 8th. And I'm giving them a loss because it's at Oklahoma. It's at Norman. So, I mean, they could wind up 10-3 or 12-0.
Well, I've got them at 9-3. and with question marks at the last two games of the season with Texas Tech and Kansas State.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, those might be, you know, they are at home, but in that division, that conference.
That's a tough 4-game stretch right there for
sure
Baylor.
is.
Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Kansas State.
I mean, yeah, Baylor get through that right there, and they're in good shape.
I guess the last 3 being at home.
That's going to help them. But the Oklahoma game on the road in Norman, and Oklahoma don't lose much in Norman.
No, they don't.
And just going by Oklahoma's history and in Stoops, you almost got to just give them the conference almost every year unless somebody takes it away from them.
Well, then you got Iowa State and Paul Rhodes, their head coach. He's from Georgia Tech, right?
Yes. He's the one who took Chiswick's place.
Yeah.
I think after they let Chiswick go
At Iowa State,
to Auburn.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got Mark Mangino as their offensive coordinator. You know, he's the big guy that was at Kansas.
Yes. Okay.
He's their offensive coordinator. So, but with that Paul Rhodes offense, though, you know, I've got them going 6-6.
I got them at 5-7.
I've got them losing to Kansas State, Baylor, Oklahoma State. I've got them losing to Texas.
I got them losing to Texas too. And that's a question mark I got right there too.
Yeah.
'Cause I ain't got Texas doing a whole lot.
I don't either. And then losing to Oklahoma and Texas Tech.
But Iowa State finishes with, I think, a win and a loss. I think West Virginia is going to beat them, and I think they'll beat TCU.
Yeah.
I think Texas Tech's going to wear them out. Texas Tech's going to be high-powered.
Yeah. And they were good last year, and that quarterback that has a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's coming in as a sophomore, and he's going to be good.
He's going to take over.
Then we got Kansas. I got them going 1-11, beating Southeast Missouri.
their opener.
Yeah, they're open. They're open. So
yeah. And then they're the second week of the season they play Southeast Missouri, and I've got them losing to Duke.
I do too.
I've got them.
I don't have them winning another game.
Beating Central Michigan also.
I had a question mark by that game.
Okay.
So, I think they'll play Texas.
I've got a question mark by the TCU game.
The Texas game's at home, so that could be a close game.
Yeah, that could be a close game.
Then we have Kansas State and Bill Snyder, and I like Bill Snyder.
I do too.
He's
a class guy. He runs a clean program. You never hear him whining. You never hear any problems coming out of Kansas State. I mean, I think he runs a good program, and he always has a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
I got him going 10-2.
I've got him going 8-4, losing to Auburn, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. But some of those are iffy. That Auburn game's at home on a Thursday night, and Auburn hadn't won a non-conference road game since 1997.
And you told me that. I couldn't believe that. And it might be time for Auburn to change that around, because I think Auburn's going to be one of the scariest teams coming out of.
I think they will too. It's going to be this is going to be a good season to watch some football.
Oh, it sure is.
Auburn. We'll talk about them for just a second. Malzahn said with Nick Marshall having a year under that offense.
When he only had a month last year.
Yeah, they only had a month. That's only going to help them get faster. So.
And he really don't need to get any faster. I saw him run that 45 yards against Alabama, and he didn't look like he was missing any steps. We need to get faster.